Hey friends, how's it going? I'm back today with another collab video that Budget Girl started. It is called How to Beat Budget Burnout. I think this is something we all struggle with, especially when you're doing things like trying to get out of debt and you feel like you can't get ahead some months and things just keep coming up and you feel like the budget's not working. Well, I think that happens to all of us, so number one, keep that in mind. But to finish off the intro, like I said, Budget Girl started it, and as always, the list of people who are participating will be below in the description box, so go check out all the videos. I'm sure we'll all have something different to say. So basically, I'm going to be talking about how to beat budget burnout, tricks to keep on track and keep on the budget train for the long haul. In other words, how do you keep winning? And if you're not familiar with Jared and I in our past, we have been working Dave Ramsey's plan for about 3.5 years now. 3.5 years now. It took us 2 years to become debt free. We just recently completed baby step 3. So yeah, so I would say that we're winning. We're doing pretty good at it, and continuing to stay motivated to stick to Dave's baby steps is something that we have to work at. So how do I beat budget burnout? First, I want to talk about actually doing the budget, because I know some people have commented to me before in some of my videos or messaged me like they budget sometimes and then they just stop doing it, maybe because they have a lot going on or they feel like they're not getting ahead. And I think so that obviously is a budget burnout. You're not getting ahead, so you feel like it's not working, so you quit doing it. I don't have that problem. I could never not do a budget, a written budget at the beginning of the month, telling my money where to go, or at least having some kind of plan. The problem that I have, or that we have, is actually sticking to our budget and learning how to say no to stuff, especially if we did not budget for it. So if you're having the problem where you're literally not doing a budget some months, you're gonna have to get over that, and you're gonna have to get into the habit of doing it every month, because giving up not doing a budget, that's not gonna help. It's kind of childish to not be telling your money where to go, and then you're probably gonna feel worse at the end of the month when you're sitting there wondering where all your money went. And you don't want that. You don't want that kind of stress on you, especially when you're in debt and you want to pay that off. You need to become motivated to get fired up about it, and you can't do stuff like that without having a budget. If things keep popping up to where it's messing up your budget, to where you can't put any money towards debt, or you just can't do whatever you have planned with your money, you need to just get fired up about it. You need to get creative, have a garage sale, do a no spend month. Those kind of things really are helpful in getting you fired up about winning with money. Okay, but like I said, this video I'm supposed to be thinking about how we beat budget burnout to help you guys in case you're in a situation like this. So like I said, we don't have a problem with doing a budget. What we have is a problem is with sticking to a budget that we do. And do I get burnt out sometimes? This month, today's May 1st. I haven't finished my April budget yet, completed it, which I'm about to do, and I'm actually nervous about doing it because I know that in April we really did blow our budget. We had a lot going on, some kind of medical issues that were just, I wasn't focusing on money, I was focusing on the problems that we had going on, and so we were doing a lot of eating out, so we totally blew it there, and did a little bit of shopping. I think maybe I felt like I deserved it, even though I didn't budget for it and plan ahead, so I blew our budget there. But like I said, I'm nervous about going back and look at our April budget, but we're gonna sit down and we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna get back on track in May, and it's all gonna be good. So that's the first step for us when we have budget burnout, is that we have to have plenty of budget meetings. That's really helpful for Jared because he's not someone, he doesn't do the budget, he doesn't look at it every day like I do. So we have to sit down, we usually do probably twice a month. We'll sit down and talk about it and go over where we've been spending our money, how we're doing so far, and we'll talk about the baby step that we're on and our goal that we're trying to reach. And that's helpful to Jared to stay on track. He's really big on goals, so that's another way that you can beat budget burnout, is you have to have goals for your finances, for your family, for your future. And that's what's so great about Dave Ramsey and the baby steps, is it's fun to complete one of the steps. You know, that's usually your goal, is to get out of debt. So when you got your visual aids up, that's one way to get you excited about sticking to your budget, because you know how good that's gonna feel when you get a loan paid off or get a credit card paid off and finally get out of debt. So like I said, have plenty of budget meetings. I know one problem some of you may have is that your spouse is not on board. So I think if you're doing a budget and your spouse has nothing to do with it, I think that's definitely a way to get burnt out, because it's really hard to do by yourself, especially, I mean, if you're single, it's different, but if you have a spouse who has no interest when you are very interested in doing the budget, that's really hard. So for Jared and I, we don't have that problem, but we do have a problem sometimes where I feel like I'm doing all this work to create the budget and to try to stick to it. You know, I try to do the best I can to stick to our grocery budget, and then if he's off totally blowing his personal budget, that really upsets me. And sometimes I've gotten to the point where I'm so mad, I'm like, okay, you know what, let's just not do a budget anymore, because if we can't stick to it, then I'm wasting my time. Well, I usually throw my little fit, and then a couple days go by, and I'm like, I get over it. And we finally we'll sit down and we'll talk, and I'll tell him how I'm feeling. And I don't try to blame stuff on him. I try to tell him that I feel disrespected when he does that after I sit here and do all this. And I know that we're doing okay financially, but the point is that we got together at the beginning of the month, we set out this plan, and then if you just totally blow it, it makes me feel disrespected. And he is very understanding about it. And then, you know, sometimes we'll try to have fun with it, and I'll say, okay, well, if you're gonna blow your budget next month, then we're gonna do all meatless meals for a week or something. And that's what we've kind of been doing the past couple months, and it's just fun, because then I don't get so mad if he blows his budget, because then I get to cook meatless meals for a whole week. Another thing that helps me keep on track, as the nerd in the relationship, the one that creates the budget, I have to look at the budget often. I used to look at it every day, not anymore, now that I stay home and don't have a lot of time to sit around on the computer, but maybe every 2 or 3 days. Sometimes I'll only get to look at it once a week, and that's when I start slacking off on the budget. So for me, it's helpful if I look at our budget often, see where we are, where do I need to cut back on. And another way to beat budget burnout is you definitely have to allow yourself to have some fun. I don't care what step you're on. Yes, you should be gazelle intense about getting out of debt, but you're not going to stay that way if you don't give yourself some blow money or give yourself some date nights. I mean, but you do need to try your best to plan it out, which I'm still always working on that, trying to look, what do we have going on this weekend? Can we have a date night? So I'll know how much to budget for it. And you don't have to spend a lot. You can use coupons to go out to eat. One time when I was doing the no spend January, and I got invited by some friends to go one Friday night and have a dinner and some drinks, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go, but because I was doing the no spend January, I didn't want to spend money, so I was trying my best to come up with some extra money to go eat with them, and it ended up being really fun, challenging myself in that way. And so I ended up coming up with like $20, and so I had to get the cheapest dinner, the cheapest meal at the restaurant we went to, and I had to get the cheap drinks, which is a regular beer, as opposed to getting like a mixed drink, you know. And I didn't mind it because we don't eat a whole bunch of food anyway, so the cheapest thing on the menu was plenty of food, along with chips and salsa. Go to a Mexican restaurant because that's free. And you know, the drinks were just fun. They were good. Let me tell you one thing I get burnt out on. One of my addictions is coffee and Starbucks. I love Starbucks caramel macchiatos, you know, whatever. And I get kind of annoyed sometimes that I have to limit myself on the amount of times I can go, which I try not to go more than once a week. And I finally got to where, and it's so simple, I was going through Pinterest and I found something about making your own iced coffee, iced latte, whatever, which I've seen before. You know, I'm getting really annoyed because I'm craving Starbucks all the time, but I try not to go, and, you know, it gets annoying having to limit yourself on stuff. So I clicked on one, read about how to make one, and it seemed so easy. So I did that this week. I finally started making my own iced coffee drinks. I made my own syrup, flavored syrup, and it was so easy. I had all the ingredients on hand to do this. So now it's 4 o'clock, probably too late to be drinking coffee. But yeah, I made my own iced coffee and it tasted just fine. So now I'm thinking that this will keep me from going to Starbucks so much. So that's how I beat that budget burnout, was just did a little bit of work and it ended up being easy. But yeah, I think the main thing that keeps us winning is coming together and having the big goals in mind. Jared is very big on the whole retirement stuff, baby step 4. He loves to read, so he's been reading all kinds of books about retirement and, or you know, like future, I don't know, whatever. He's reading Chris Hogan's book, I know. They Retire Inspired, and so it gets him pumped up about messing around with the investing and having the dream of being a millionaire when we're 50 or 60 years old. Like, we truly believe that's going to happen, and you know, you just have to keep that goal in mind and keep that vision. You got to do your best to enjoy your life now. Don't totally, you know, keep yourself from not enjoying life, but also keep the big picture in mind. So the budget's really important in making all that happen. So that's pretty much all there is to it. That's how we're able to stay on the budget train for the long haul, you know, keep on chugging through the good and the bad times. Just kidding. Thank you, Budget Girl, for starting this. Definitely go check out her video because she's one of my favorite Dave Ramsey YouTubers and she's awesome. So go check all the videos out and leave a comment below on how you are able to beat budget burnout. And thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. And thank you for watching. Talk to y'all later.